Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 283 now of the SCB Steelers Podcast, presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And we find ourselves about, 11 days, I think, now from the Steelers NFL season opener in Cincinnati, home of the Bungles. And yesterday, of course, the Steelers had to get down to their 53-man roster, which, if any of you know, it always changes very rapidly between the 53-man roster day and week one. And we have no doubt that that's going to be the thing here. A couple of comments already from the viewers. Steelers Freak says Ben has changed. And Demon says Ben looks different. Well, yes, Ben does look different.
This is the greatest trade in the history of trades that we have made.
There is no player to be named later. There is no money changing hands later. This has just been a straight swap. We've brought in Ellie Finnerty, and Ben is in the desert somewhere drinking and watching really bad music, from what I understand. So we're just going to leave it at that. But great to have obviously Ryan and Ian back, but also Ellie, who's joined us for several years now on here. And so I'm excited about it. And Ellie, I'll start with you right away.
Yes.
Was there any surprise for you in terms of either somebody that was kept or somebody that was cut yesterday?
No, nothing that was massively shocking to me. No one really shocked me. I've got to be honest. They never do anything I feel like the roster, I don't remember anybody that really stuck out to me. I did think Leglue at first, but I've heard he's now on the practice squad. So
he is.
Yeah. So that one, I know some people were a little bit shocked by Anthony McFarland being cut, but he's also on the practice squad, or am I wrong?
No, you're correct.
Yeah. So the only two people I can think of that come to mind, they're now both on the practice squad.
Well, I, for one, am glad that John Leglue has stuck around. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm back to work this week. The dad jokes, the puns are flying. I just had to throw it out there. I've gotten rid of it now, so I'll leave it at that. Anyway, can you dub in Ben's laugh here and there? No, that asshole's gone. We're not doing anything. Scarps, any surprises for you yesterday in terms of who was kept, who was cut?
Yeah, I agree with Ellie. There wasn't anybody that I was surprised about, but I did tweet yesterday, the Steelers O-line is bad when we're questioning why John Leglue is cut. It's he's back on the practice squad, and I especially I don't know if you, so Chris Oladokin signed with the Chiefs practice squad today, and it's
good.
I feel like he saw that 412 area code on his phone and was like, nah, I'm good. You drafted me in the 7th round, and I literally played less than 20 snaps the whole entire training camp and whatnot. So, for Leglue, it's probably a little bit different. He's a little bit older, and he probably was like, you know what, I think this is my best chance to compete. But I'm surprised that he was an initial cut. So I wasn't surprised overall, but I'm kind of really this guy, if John Leglue isn't good enough to make the 53 off the bat based on how bad this O-line is played, yep. I guess that was more surprising to me, is wow, I thought this line was bad, but they're really bad.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And I think a lot of people felt the exact same way when we saw him get cut. But as you and Ellie pointed out, he is back on the practice squad, and he could be on the 53 soon. All it takes is one injury or anything like that. Ian, what do you think? You got any surprise keeps, surprise cuts?
So the one thing that I thought was encouraging was that they didn't put DeMonte KZ on injured reserve before cuts. So one thing that's important to remember is that in order to be able to come back from IR during the season, you have to be on the initial 53-man roster. If you go on IR before the initial cuts, you're done for the whole year. So anyone that's put on IR during the preseason is done for the whole year. So they kept KZ, couple other guys,
and
Calvin
just real quick,
Austin.
Ian, I think he can come back week 4.
Yeah. So they changed the rule this year. It's changed like every year because of COVID.
Yeah.
So they changed the rule this year. Players have to be on IR at least 4 weeks, and you can only bring 8 players back per year or in a year. They could change it next year. So in this year, you can bring 8 guys back. You're allowed to bring 1 player back, or you're allowed to bring a player back twice, but both of those times count towards your 8 limit.
Count towards the 8. Yep.
Yeah. So like if someone got hurt, came back, got hurt again, they could come back a second time, but
And
both of those would count to their 8.
Right.
Yeah. So some other ones, Calvin Austin may land on IR for a few weeks, depending on how his foot is. Montravius Adams, not really sure what's going on there. He hasn't really suited up since the first preseason game, so he could land on IR. But there were a couple guys like that I was kind of like, okay, they kept them. They may stick them on IR. The word kind of came out pretty quickly when Marcus Allen got cut, like, oh, they're cutting him, but they're going to bring him back, which I don't know why they would bring him back. There's better guys that got cut. That was one of my big takeaways, actually, was that they didn't give up a whole lot in either of the 2 trades they made, right? Like a conditional 7th in 2025 kind of means nothing. And then swapping a 6th for a 7th basically means nothing. But the bigger takeaway was they gave up assets to get guys who were probably going to get cut anyways. And there were better players that got cut by other teams that they probably could have got for free without giving up assets. So, I don't know.
Does that come down to like money, do you think? They just didn't want to spend bigger money on some of those bigger names?
It could. I mean, the thing is, with players who are still on, not veteran contracts, that they're on, rookie contracts, things like that, that when they're cut, they get put on waivers. So you have to put in a waiver claim. Like Alex Leatherwood was the popular name, right?
Sure.
The Bears were the only team that put in a waiver claim for him, but because it's a waiver claim and not a true free agent signing, they assume his contract that he had, which was his, first round pick rookie deal, which, as you pointed out, is more money than what it would be just to sign a guy for the veteran minimum.
It was 8 million, right?
Yeah, something like that. I think you're right about that. So, that said, the Steelers did have quite a bit of cap space available to them, so they pretty easily could have handled, a waiver claim or 2. They put a couple guys on the practice squad that, were cut by other teams. So there's that. Couple offensive linemen, but really, there's a few more moves still to be made here. We're recording this Wednesday night, so the 53 guys we have now will not be the 53 guys that go to Cincinnati on September 11th.
No doubt about it.
That will be changed. So we'll see how it all plays out. The Malik Reed signing or trade was fine. He's a fine backup. He had 8 sacks a few years ago, so he's an acceptable backup. He had a really good 3-cone time at his pro day, so that's something to look for. The Jesse Davis trade I didn't love. Everything I've ever seen about him likens him to a turnstile or a traffic cone, or we already have Dan Moore and Kendrick Green, so I guess he'll fit right in.
We're suddenly getting like the entrance to Wally World. It's just one turnstile after another. So that was mean. In any case, just a couple of comments here. I get the concern with Austin because of his size, and there has been no reason to have a whole lot of optimism just yet because we haven't seen him, and we don't know the kind of pounding that he's going to be able to take, so I'm just kind of like coin up in the air. Let's see what happens. And then, Big Ben's Burner jumped in, and Marcus Allen's like Zach Banner. Average player, good locker room guy. I think he's well liked. I think Danny Smith loves him on special
Tomlin
team.
loves him for some reason.
I think Tomlin loves him a lot too. And, I think, Ryan, you might be able to answer this better than me. I think Tomlin sometimes can fall in like with guys and maybe keep them around a little long. Or is that just me being a fan, or is there some truth to that?
No, I mean you're not wrong.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a guy that like, and I didn't know Marcus Allen, but
Right.
like Marcus Allen has actually seen some snaps on defense though. So, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a guy like Jordan Dangerfield that
he was a cat of nine lives, man.
Yeah,
He
like
was.
strictly special teams. But just a huge asset to the locker room, but also like Tomlin really liked him, and so did the coaches. But like, it's not like I said, I don't know Marcus Allen, but that's the comparison I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
It's like, not the biggest contributor, not going to do everything, but like does what you ask of him, and does it to the best of his ability. Getting back to your point, I thought we were talking about cuts, but we were talking about keeps and Steelers.
Either way is fine.
Yeah, I think Steelers Freak mentioned it, but I'm on board with this. I'm done with the Derek Watt experiment. He has been hurt. He's valuable on special teams, but like you can't field 10 other guys with Chris Boswell that are cheaper. I mean, like, listen, I was wrong about Connor Hayward. He looks pretty good. I thought that maybe that was not a charity pick, but my big brother plays defensive end.
Anytime it's a brother, it feels like a charity pick.
But like Connor Hayward, like he got some hands. He's on teams. Yep. Why is Derek Watt still on this team? Like they don't use him. Like he's had how many carries has he had since he's been here? Maybe 3 max.
2, maybe. Yeah.
He doesn't run. He's not like Cal Juszczyk. He's not even who's the guy for the Ravens? The defensive end turned fullback.
Oh,
they used Haloti Nato like that a few times.
Yeah, but he's Ricard.
Yeah,
Ricard.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Ricard probably has 10 receptions over the past 2 years. Like Derek, like there's no wheel routes, there's nothing, and they don't even use them. So to me, it's just I'm over that. I'm over that. Fans want to complain about Mason Rudolph being on the books for $4 million or whatever it is. Like, I'm sorry, but like, Derek Watt is even less valuable. And if TJ's listening and it's going to find me and beat me up, so be it. But like,
but I've come around to that too because you mentioned like wheel routes. I mean, remember when he came over from San Diego? I mean, one of the things that we liked was, hey, this guy can catch the ball out of the backfield. He blocks. He can pick up those short yardage. And they just have completely ignored him as a potential threat. And when I say threat, I don't mean like TD threat, but a guy that can move this change for you a little bit.
Real quick, sorry.
No,
Derek Watt in his Steelers career has 1 carry for 1 yard. It was a first down, and
made my point.
Yeah, he has 3 receptions for 15 yards on 3 targets. So he has, if my elementary math is good, he has 4 touches. 4 touches in 29 games.
I would be Ellie. Let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Do you think he regrets coming to Pittsburgh despite the fact he got to be around his brother?
Not for that money.
I stand corrected. No, you're right. I mean, he's making great money. He's playing special teams. They love him. Danny Smith loves him.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to wonder. I mean, most of these guys are competitors. They want to play. They want to compete. And I just cannot imagine him being in that situation where he just doesn't even get an opportunity to touch a ball. Or block even other than on special teams.
And I know I'm talking a lot tonight, so tell me to shut up. But to Derek's defense, like I don't know the guy, but but I'm also like this is a big year for Matt Canada,
for sure.
Because and this is just me, but I'm seeing the same shit regardless of who's a quarterback. Like it is literally the little motions, little jet sweeps, these quick passes, and then just chuck it down the sidelines and pray to God somebody finds it. And yes, there have been a couple more throws to the middle of the field this preseason. Pickett the Muth, Mitch last week on that 2-minute drill. But like, to me, even if Ben was at the helm, I'm seeing a lot of the same similarities, and that does so. Maybe this isn't on Derek Watt. I don't know, but
I don't think it is. But I mean, we don't know. No,
I think Matt Canada is way over his head. Way over his head. Like,
well, we're gonna find out quickly. I mean, because last year it was Ben's holding him back. Well, there's no Ben. We're gonna find out this year right away. The real it reminds me of that TV show, where you try to pretend you're somebody else. And will the real Matt Canada please stand up? We're gonna find out.
Slim Shady.
Mark had to drop a TV show reference and not go to Eminem because he's so old. So
Eminem. You mean the candies?
Yeah.
Hey,
if Derek Watt finishes this season on the Steelers roster, he will have made $9.75 million from the Steelers out of his 12 and change career earnings. So as Ellie said, I think Ellie's point was right. It's like when Bruce Gradkowski was here, right? Bruce Gradkowski got paid $3 million a year to sit on the bench behind Ben while Ben played every game. It was great money if you can get it, right?
Yeah, I being competitive, and I know they are competitors, but if we're not blaming Derek Watt for this situation, we're blaming it on schematics and the way offense there, and you can't pinpoint him as being responsible for the lack of use. Yeah, I'd sit there and take $9 million as well.
Yeah, and I think your point, Ellie, is well taken. There's a schematic thing there that we just went away from any sort of fullback stuff. We like the 11 personnel, and I guess what I would love to know is when they were sitting down with Derek Watt and they were talking about him coming to the Steelers, what did they say? You're going to get 1 or 2 carries maybe, and the rest is special teams, but we'll pay you $9 million.
And your
what, Ellie?
And your brother's there, I'm sure.
Yeah, and your brother's there. Yes, and come to Pittsburgh. It's a lovely city.
Or TJ was like, "Yeah, my brother needs some help. Bring him here."
Yeah, really. Yeah, he's a new dad. Needs
the fans thought it was JJ. Remember that?
Oh God, Twitter was
shit. All three, the whole Watt brothers are gonna be here. My God,
I would have said it's happening. It's happening. It didn't.
You never know. Stranger things, right?
You guys know Derek Watt's the 3rd highest paid fullback in the league. Like, that's insane. That's
behind who's Jack's, right? Yeah, who's Jack's one,
you
right?
check in Ricard for Baltimore. Yeah.
Damn, I'm on fire tonight. This is
good.
Are.
Yeah, but I think to Ryan's point, for as little as he is used, being the 3rd highest paid fullback in the league is kind of crazy. So, we should use him more.
No argument. None.
Yeah. But Ellie's absolutely right. It's a schematic thing.
Yes.
It's more Watt's usage is more on Canada than on anyone else because he's just not using them.
Which is a little odd because Canada used a fullback fairly effectively at the college level.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not suggesting the college level is the pro level by any stretch, but he did use a fullback pretty effectively. Just a reminder, this is the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. DEK serves Broward and the southern Palm Beach counties, whether it's commercial, industrial, residential, multifamily, or condos. Contact DEK Roofing today by visiting dekroofing.com. Let me switch gears just to the quarterbacks for a minute. We talked briefly about Chris Oladokun, that guy. Oladokun being one of the first guys cut, and he's now with the Kansas City Chiefs and everything. So that leaves a pretty well-paid third-string quarterback. I don't know. Ian, where do you see this quarterback thing settling out, or are we looking way too much into it? It's going to be Mitch. It's going to be Kenny and Mason. Hold the clipboard in your civilian clothes.
I think Mitch is the starter, hands down, no question.
Agree.
I think the real interesting question is who else gets a helmet on Sunday?
Yeah.
Especially the first Sunday, right? Because if they really think that Pickett has surpassed Mason as the number 2, Pickett gets a helmet, Mason's a healthy scratch, doesn't dress, but is just there on the sidelines.
Yep.
But, one of the reasons for keeping Mason around is to have a veteran guy who kind of knows the terminology of the offense, can get you in and out of a huddle, can get you down the field and kick field goals. He's not going to score touchdowns for you. But he's not going to make mistakes. He'll kind of keep you in a game if your defense isn't receiving points to the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Mason's going to win games, ugly, 19-13 and 16-10 and
16-16
like that. Yeah. Scores like that. Right. Mason's not putting 21 points on the board. He's not putting the ball in the end zone 3 times. He needs a special teams or defensive touchdown to do that. And even if you look back at the 2019 season when Mason started, a lot of those games we won, we scored a special teams or defensive touchdown to get to 21 points. And the defense was incredible that year. But I think, the real interesting thing the first couple of weeks is going to be, who gets the second helmet, right? Because traditionally they only dress 2 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I doubt that changes this year, especially since they have 7 wide receivers on the roster right now. It'll probably be 6 by the time they go to Cincinnati. Since I'm thinking Austin goes to IR. But still, with 7 wide receivers on the roster, that gives you some options too between Gunnar Olszewski or Steven Sims as kick and punt returners. Depending on how healthy Chase Claypool is, what's going on with Deontay Johnson's shoulder. I was actually really happy to see Miles Boykin make the team. I thought he showed enough in preseason. He made some really nice catches throughout the preseason. So I'm happy to see him stick here. That was one I was glad to see on the roster. But I think, at the end of the day, I think they're comfortable with the 3 quarterbacks they have. The real interesting thing is going to be who gets that second helmet. And then if Mason's not getting a helmet, that's when he might start to get a little disgruntled. As long as he kind of thinks he's the backup and is what it is. And that may be the case. If Trubisky gets hurt and Mason comes in for a game, he might come in for that game, but they may start Pickett the following week. You never know. Like, it kind of depends on how the season goes. But I've said for a while that I think Pickett's starting the Saints game after.
Yeah, you like that bye week.
Bye week followed by 2 home games is the ideal time. If you're going to bring Pickett in, that's the time to do it. But the interesting question is, Ben Roethlisberger, when he was a rookie, was 3rd on the depth chart and only moved up to 2nd on the depth chart because of injuries to Charlie Batch. And then, ultimately, Tommy got hurt against Baltimore and Ben came in. And after that, it was like, all right, here we go. It's smooth sailing with Roethlisberger the rest of the year. And he started winning games and it's like, well, he's hot. He's got the hot hand. You can't take him out.
Ellie, let me ask you this. You know Steelers fans pretty well. You know how we all can be, as they say. Will anything surprise you in terms of yelling and screaming for Kenny Pickett if Mitchell Trubisky is even slightly bad?
No. I think Mitch Trubisky makes one wrong move and he may as well change his name to Kenny Pickett because you won't be hearing it. Like, the man will be doomed. And I get why. We did it before, if you remember, when in the 2019 season when Mason started off pretty decent. I do agree. A lot of defensive touchdowns were helping us win those games. And then there was the call for duck, and it was loud, and they made a Snapchat filter for that's how scream the love for duck got. So I think that we might be seeing similar between these 2.
And that's what I think is going to be fascinating, is because there's a real possibility that what could happen, and Scarps, I'll throw this to you, maybe come September 11th in Cincinnati, maybe it's Mitch and maybe it's Mason. Can you imagine people going crazy if Kenny Pickett is standing there with no helmet? What do you think?
That'd be a riot.
Yeah, Ellie, to your point, I agree. The week before, so Mason got killed by Earl Thomas. He was out the following week, which was at LA Chargers in that soccer stadium.
Right.
And then Duck started that game.
And we won.
Yes, but didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
The Chargers actually made it really close at the end, but Devin Bush had that like fumble screen pass, Phillip Rivers backward pass touchdown. The last time Devin Bush made a play. It's a cold Wednesday night.
It's a cold Wednesday.
No, he's on. I'm using reverse psychology. Hopefully he does well this year.
Amen.
But you're right, Ellie, because Duck made that impression when Mason came back. He was okay, but then the Garrett thing happened.
Yeah. And
even after that, he was just so shook in Cincinnati that even though it wasn't a home game, Tomlin knew that he had to get Mason out of there for Mason's sake and the team's sake. So you're right. I agree with you. So oddly enough, they're starting out in Cincinnati. And I have said this on this show that I'm not even kidding you. I'm talking first drive, Cincinnati Bengals pick 6. Mike Hilton, somebody pick 6.
You know, you're starting to talk this into existence. You've mentioned this several times now.
I'm just saying that that, and if it who. It might not even be Mitch's fault. It might be a bad play call. It might be the O-line sucked. It might be that Chase Claypool was on a TikTok during the middle of the game. I don't know. But the point is, the moment Mitch messes up, everybody's going to want Kenny Pickett in.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking Pitt fans. I'm talking like everybody's going to want Kenny Pickett in because they think Kenny Pickett has arrived. They think Kenny Pickett is the real deal. They think Kenny Pickett, because he played against the shitty Jacksonville Jaguars and who's the first team? The Seattle Seahawks.
We played arguably the 3 worst teams in the league.
We played 3 really bad teams in the preseason.
Yes. So, and again,
quiet.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, didn't the Lions game was also pretty close in the end? Oh no, it wasn't the Lions game. The one before that.
Well, they were all kind of close, but you know. I got to address Freak's comment here. Attendance has been down. Pickett was brought in to put asses in seats. He will be playing sooner than later. Is he right? Is him suggesting that you would play a guy to get butts in seats? Is that a real thing? Scarps?
Yeah. To close my further point, yes, I agree that people, if Mitch messes up, they're going to call for Pickett. But getting back to that, as we talked about Derek Watt earlier, I would rather have Mason on the team for that. I'd rather have Mason on the team for that price than Derek Watt. That's just me, because I'd rather have somebody that's been here and somebody that if Mitch or even Kenny was like, what the hell's Canada talking about? and Mason could be like, oh, I know what he's talking about. Anyway, talk about asses in seats. That's a problem that has been impacting the Steelers and the league for a while now.
It is.
The convenience of sitting in your house and having a restroom available in a Ellie, is this a British term? In a jiffy?
In a jiffy.
Okay, there we go. All right, I'm learning. And you got a cold beer. An endless supply of cold beers
that doesn't cost $15.
And I've heard at least Colin Dunlap has gotten a lot of. He was talking about this the other day, and a lot of fans were weighing in that basically if you want something at Heinz, it's Heinz. If you want something at Heinz, it basically takes like a quarter. Like it takes you a full quarter to get it, and we're talking preseason. So then, what's it going to be like in the regular season when attendance is up? But there's just literally there's so much working against an in-person experience because you have the comforts of your own home. So I'll say this to Steelers Freak, who said put Kenny Pickett asses in seats. Mm-hmm. They didn't even show up when he played at Pitt. I mean they're not. And
this is coming from a Pitt fan. Ryan is a Pitt fan.
I am a Pitt fan. Yes. I didn't go to Pitt, but listen, man. I went to Pitt Stadium. I went to Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. huge Pitt hoops and football fan. I'm just telling you right now that they didn't even show up when Kenny Pickett played in college, when he was a Heisman Trophy candidate last year. They showed up. So the Steelers have been struggling with declining attendance for years now.
Yep.
Just because they draft them like people are going to show up. No, they're not. Tickets are pricey.
Yep.
Concessions are pricey. It's going to take half an hour to get a hot dog and a beer and take a leak. Like, people don't want to do that. It's just the way it is.
No, it's a great point.
Counterpoint to Ryan's point.
Talk to me.
Yeah. That not only, we all saw it during the preseason games. Like, the crowd went nuts when Kenny even just came into the game.
Oh, it was huge.
It was, they're chanting his name, all that stuff. And Big Ben's burner, who, if you're not following him on Twitter, go follow him on Twitter. He's a great
follow it.
But he had a good point in the chat too, that they were screaming for Pickett at training camp, like when the Steelers fans come from everywhere to go to training camp. I mean, I was listening to the one training camp radio show the one night, and they had a brief interview that they did because one of the beat writers was talking to this guy. He's like, yes, hey, where are you from? The guy's like, oh, I'm from England. I come over every year for training camp, and I try and come to 1 or 2 games. And they're like, you're from Leeds and you come here for training? And it's like, yeah, man. So, but it's like training camp's like a pilgrimage for people. It's almost like a religious experience. And if they're chanting Pickett's name at training camp, they're chanting his name at games. I mean, he's got the fan base in his corner right now. And I completely agree with both your points that as soon as Mitch makes a mistake, people are going to be screaming for Pickett immediately. And that may not be the best long-term thing to happen, but it's what's going to happen. So
I think that's a good way of saying it.
And it may not even be an interception. It might just be a 3 and out. It might be a bad pass. I mean, we've all seen Mitch Trubisky throw to his left poorly. That said, he had a damn nice throw to his left to Deontay Johnson.
He's had a couple now in preseason decent throws to his left.
Yeah.
One good Steel Dad. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, and I'm going to do my last ad read, and then we're going to get on to over-unders.
So I'm just going to say this. Let's just say Mitch doesn't have a good game in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want Kenny Pickett's first start in the NFL to be against Darth Vader? Because Sam Darnold was pretty highly touted coming out of college, and he said he saw ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kenny Pickett's going to see all kinds of shit. Because Mitch Trubisky's going to see all kinds of shit. So, be careful what you wish for.
I agree.
Ben Anderson has joined the chat.
Yeah, we have a quick comment coming in here. Mr. Ben Anderson, you guys are dicks.
Listen, man, you're in the desert. Lick a toad and get on with your day's work, man. All right?
What a jerk. I think you make a good point, Ryan. I do. I think what's going to happen, Trubisky could get flushed from the pocket, have 2 guys dragging from him, throw a ball, it gets deflected, it gets intercepted, and people are going to scream for Pickett, even though it's not necessarily his fault.
Yeah.
So I think that's just where we are. Okay. Very, very quickly here, don't forget, we are very proud to be part of the Pigskin Podcast Network and associated with DraftKings Sportsbook. And right now, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN and get $200 in free bets instantly when you place just a $5 bet on any football game. That's code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. I love football season. We get to do a little gambling. Okay. Over-unders. This is something we've done in recent years on the show. It's kind of fun. We go back, we look at it, get to kind of see he is drunk out of his mind. He thinks he's Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Holy shit. Ben is nuts.
He's like a Woodstock 99 right now.
Oh, he is.
Debauchery and chaos.
He's up there with Kid Rock. Okay. The first over-under I'm going to give you, and I'm going to go, I'll go to Ellie first. Okay.
Oh, God.
Over-under, Ellie.
Yeah.
Najee Harris.
Yeah.
1,200 yards rushing.
So the same
over or under? Say that again.
That was his last. Was that his stats from last year?
Exactly.
Okay.
1,200 yards.
Oh, for him, I would say over. But then you look at that O line and you're like, yikes. I'm going to say over, painfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're definitely not 100% sure.
I'm not 100% sure, but not because of him, because of what he's working with.
Yes, I agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very quickly. I'm on board. I agree. Ian, your response to that?
I would also say over. I think that, I'm just gonna say over. But last year he didn't fumble at all, and he was very durable and didn't get injured at all. That like one injury to a running back, missed 1 or 2 games, can completely change that number. But I'll still say over.
Okay. And Scarpino.
Under. I think Naj is going to regress this year, not by his own choosing.
Okay. Simply because O-line is bad?
I think the O-line is bad, and I have no faith in Tomlin not giving him 8 million touches. I really do think that there will be wear and tear this year. I don't wish injury on anyone, but like as Ian said, all it takes is, one thing. And I, the other thing too about Naj, like it's incredible what he did last year behind that line. But we also look at what Chase Claypool did his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, I mean, 1,200's I know there's an extra game, but that's a good amount of yards.
It is. It's going to require a lot of touches.
I think so. It's under, but I think it's close. I'd probably say like 1,150-ish.
Okay.
But it's not.
I was thinking like 1,300, so I was thinking over by just a little. So I think right in the same range is probably about right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to
go receipts.
I'm going to go next to Ian. Ian, Mitch Trubisky, total passing yards over under 3,000.
Under.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I'm on the record saying I think Pickett should start halfway through the year. So there's no way Trubisky
can't go against that
3,000 yards in half a season. So yeah,
that totally fair. And I kind of picked an arbitrary number there. Big Ben was 3,700 last year. Ellie, what do you think? Does he eclipse 3,000 or does Trubisky stay under that?
Under.
Very, very good. All right. Yeah. And Ryan.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to say under 2. I think the Steelers are going to have 2 2,000-yard passers this year.
Ooh, wow, that's a good one.
That's good. When's the last time that's happened? Or in Pittsburgh?
I'd have to look. I don't think
I
can't
ever.
remember.
I mean,
I know.
2,000-yard passers. That's
I didn't say who the second one would be.
I know. I was just going to ask you about that. Okay, Ryan, here's yours.
Let's go.
I am going to go. Let's see, Deontay Johnson. Okay. 90 receptions, over or under? Under.
That was a definitive under.
That was very much a definitive. Yeah. You feel very confident with that. Ian?
Oh boy. 90 receptions.
90 receptions.
Let's see. He had 107 last year, 88 the year before. I mean, he's going to get the targets. The question is the catches.
Mm-hmm.
I think right around there's a good number, like 92, 93 is probably pretty close, but I'll go under, but barely, like just into the high 80s.
Okay. All right. And Ellie, did I already ask you?
No.
No, go for it.
That is about 90 is sort of right on the money for where I think he might end up.
Okay.
But 7 down to most likely 6 potential people right that same opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're probably going to go under, particularly if he's. Yeah, no, I'm going under.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
But-
Ellie, I'm gonna stay with you.
Okay.
Kenneth Pickett over under touchdown passes in 2022. I'm gonna put it at 9.
Oh, I was gonna say 10.
And as well, so over under, is he going to get more than 9? Will they succumb to the peer pressure of Steeler Nation?
They keep their seats too.
I'm going to say, for my safety, over.
Over. Okay. All right. Ian. Over
I was gonna
under.
go with 10, so I'll also go over.
Okay. All right. Beautiful. Scarps, what do you got?
I got over 2 and no Benjamin. I didn't think Mason Rudolph would be the second 2,000-yard passer. So if Kenny Pickett has 2,000 yards passing and not 10 touchdowns, then that's not good.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Let me get to George Pickens. Okay. Very popular rookie. A lot of people across the league, all the pundits, they think this is the breakout star. This guy's going to have a huge year. Let's see. I think I'm starting with Ian on this one.
Mhm.
Ian, I'm going to put his TD receptions at
Please don't say 7, because that's
7.
my number. Oh shit.
7.
Push.
That's exactly
Push.
where I was going.
Push then.
Push. Okay,
Yeah.
you like 7.
7.
All right.
7 was pretty much right where I was going. 7 or
All right.
8. But
All
yeah.
right.
If you had
Ellie,
said
what-
7.5, that would have been
No, I don't do halves.
all right.
Ellie, what do you think? 7 over under for George Pickens.
I'm going to say under, but only by 1. 6 was where I.
Okay, 6.
Yeah.
Got it. And Scarpino.
I'm going to say push.
Okay, fair
Are
enough.
we allowed
Go
to?
push? Oh, sure. Why the hell not?
That's
I'm not gambling any money yet.
We're making up rules as we go.
That's the fun part. Chase Claypool. Scarps, this one's to you. Chase Claypool. 55 receptions over under.
Ooh.
55.
17 times 4 is 68. So if he can't get 4 grabs
whoa.
a game,
There's no
please
math
get
on
rid of
this
him.
show.
So over.
Over. Very good. Ellie?
If he can't get 4 grabs a game, come on.
What was the number? I'm so sorry.
55.
I'm glad you asked because I was going to ask too.
Yeah.
Well, and just for reference, he had 59 receptions in 15 games last year.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say over.
Okay. All right. Ian?
Yeah, I'll say over as well.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Let's go to Mr. TJ Watt. And I believe I'm back to Ellie here. I'm going to put Watt's sack total at 18. Over or under?
1 per game.
That's
So
1
one-
per game. And we know that he plays much better at home than he does on the road in terms of sack numbers.
Yeah, Scarps had that. Scarps was all over that
He
one.
did.
Sack numbers last year, was it?
Well, he ended up
22 and a half.
22 and a half.
Tied the league
Oh.
record.
So you're going over 18.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's going to be around 22.
The
Ryan?
year after anybody that has 20 sacks, the year after only his brother JJ and Aaron
Right.
Donald have come close to getting close to 20 sacks. I think JJ might have topped it, but Aaron
Okay.
Donald didn't, but he was close. I'm going to say under, and I'm going to go with 17 and a half, like real close.
I like it.
As much as for how great TJ is, you have to assume
Yes.
That-
Yeah.
offensive linemen and coaching for the opponents want to win too. Like,
Mhm.
okay, the other night in that Detroit game, he came unblocked, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, listen, if you're like, come on.
Yeah.
And you
I know
can't
what you're
assume that
saying.
he's going to be unblocked. So I'm thinking 17 and a half, which,
Okay.
I mean, shit, 17 and a half, still would have been the season record, Steelers single season record, because Jimmy Harrison had 16.5, I believe, in 2008. Yeah. So, like, how many times is TJ going to do it? But 17.5 is no slouch, but I think it's a little bit under.
And Ian?
17.5 was my number 2, but I can't pick against TJ Watt, so I'm going to go over.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking a little under myself, right around 17 myself, but
that's what Derek Watt's job is. He just whispers in his brother's ear, "You ain't shit.
You need one more sack.
You ain't nothing."
Let's I think, where am I at here? Am I at Ian?
Probably.
Ian, sure. Go for it. Cam Hayward sacks over under 8.5.
Ooh, over. I was going to go 9, so yeah, over.
Okay.
All right. Not quite to the double digits, but 9 is good. Hey, by the way, I was looking it up. Wait, I'll let other people answer this one first. Then I got something for you guys.
Very good. Very good. Ryan, what do you got on Cam?
8.5, you said?
I did.
I'm going to tell you this. He needs to be in double digits this year, because the defense is going to run the show. So, yes, I'm going to go over.
Love it. Love it. Ellie?
I was going to be generous and say I'm thinking 10, so I'm going to go over, but I'd also take, what did you say, 8.5?
Yes.
I'd also take 8.5, but I'm still going to go over just to be generous.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Scarps, next one for you.
Wait, I got something for you.
Ian.
I'm sorry, Ian. Go ahead.
Yes. All right. Who was the last team that had 2 quarterbacks throw for 2,000 yards in a year?
The last team
that did it.
Okay, so we're going to need a little bit of context here. What can you give us, like
it happened in 2018.
2018.
Carson Wentz and Nick Foles.
No.
Ooh.
It was not.
Ooh. Dolphins.
No, it was Tampa Bay with Ryan Fitzmagic and Jameis Winston.
See, I was thinking Fitzmagic, and I got the wrong Florida team. Okay, that's good stat.
Good guess though, Ryan. But yes, it was.
Okay, Ryan, here's your question.
Oh, damn it,
Mike,
I'm pissed.
Mike Tomlin challenges 1 this year. I'm going to put it at 3.
1? 3. 3.
I know, 3's generous, right? Does Mike T win more than 3 challenges this year?
You know, it's actually funny because I was looking at this the other day and I got distracted.
He won one the other day.
I was gonna look up. I was looking up active head coaches challenges.
Right.
Pro Football Reference. If you're not on it, please get on it. It's wonderful.
Great,
I got distracted. Because I wanted to see if Tomlin is as bad as we think he is, and I don't even really necessarily think I need to look too far. He's so bad. And I've actually said this for a long time now, and I know we're rambling, and I'm rambling, but
no, we're doing great. We're good.
You know, I've said this for a long time. Like, the Steelers need to the Steelers are notoriously cheap when it comes to hiring assistants and whatnot. And I'm not saying you need a coach for everything, but having someone in the booth specifically for challenges and a Tomlinism here, things of that nature, I think would be beneficial. So over 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna say if it's at 3,
I'm putting it at 3.
I'm going to go push, and I'm going to go push by a miracle. Like, I'm talking like push on a 5-team parlay just to boost my odds. So I got 4 gimmies and a push for Tomlin at 3 challenges won.
Got it. Ian, what do you think? I got it at 3. 3 Mike Tomlin challenge wins.
So here's a fun fact that you may not know, since Ryan mentioned he was looking this up. Did you know that Mike Tomlin has a better career record on challenges than Bill Belichick?
Oh, come on.
Bill Belichick is 51 for 127, which is 40%. Tomlin is 36 for 84, which is 42%. So Tomlin has a better record than Bill Belichick in challenges.
But what would it be if Tomlin? But what would Tomlin project to be with the same amount as Belichick?
Oh, for God's
I mean, at
sakes.
42%. I
We're
mean,
doing maths on this show? Come on.
yeah, I
My
mean,
head's going to
you
explode.
still
He has 40 more challenges.
okay.
More-
So
Well, I mean, Tomlin can't control that. I mean,
Ian, give me
Yeah.
them numbers again.
yeah, you do your little maths off there to the side.
I'll post them in the chat. Anyways, but the other thing is, in the last 6 years, Tomlin has only won 3 challenges once.
I lost my parlay. It's over.
So I'm gonna say under. Yeah,
it's
in the
over.
last
It's
in the
over.
last 6 years,
Stranger Things, man.
years, Tomlin has won a grand total of 7 challenges.
Wow.
So he's been
That
really
he is
bad.
just ass
For my-
at that.
For my
Yeah.
soccer bettors out there, I just went the handicap draw at
I mean,
3.
okay.
Wow.
All right. Ellie, Minka Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
interceptions this year.
Wait, did Ellie?
Ellie, did you get the
No,
the
she didn't say Tomlin challenges.
Tomlin
over under.
challenges? I'm sorry. Did you say over under?
Ellie, bring it. Come on.
Okay, well, I was going to say under. Then my roommate was jumping up and down. She was saying over. But now that you've heard those numbers,
I stand by what I say.
frightening. She stands by what she says.
I will definitely will.
I think under. But sure, we'll go over.
Ooh,
Okay. I dig
we
it.
I think that's a push.
the most.
By the way, is your roommate a Steelers fan?
Sorry?
Is your roommate a Steelers fan?
Are you a Steelers fan? Her girlfriend's a Steelers fan. Does that
Oh,
count?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. That's fine. I'll take that.
By association, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, by association. Yeah. The question I was going to ask you, though, Ellie, is Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm going to put the number of interceptions he has this year over under at 5.
Ooh. He just got paid, correct?
Oh, yes.
So 5. I do agree that the defense is going to have to be on top form this season. So
Mhm.
I'm going to say, 5. 5 is a good number.
Thank you.
I'm going
You
to
can push.
I'm going to say 5 is probably where I would
Okay. All right. Ian.
I'll say over by 1. I'm gonna go 6.
go. Okay.
Okay.
I like
All right. Scarps to you.
Under. I'm like 2 or 3 max.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah.
I'm wrong all the time though, so whatever.
That's why we do these. The next one. I think I'm at, where am I at here? Scarps? We'll go
Oh.
Scarps. Chris Boswell misses this year. I'm going to put it at 4. Over or under? And I know it's tough because if
Over.
we say 1, over.
But I want to say okay. I'm saying over, but
Yeah.
like I'm thinking like 29 to 34 is like really good. Like
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I know Boz is clutch and whatever, but like,
Yep.
like, you never know what Acrisure, what Hines can throw at you.
Right.
And then this is a good question. And I don't know off the top of my head. Apologies, because I hadn't studied the schedule as much. Did they have 9 home games this year? Or
No,
8?
9 road games.
So 9 road games.
Yep.
Okay, so I mean, Boz is clutch, but like again, 5 misses when you kick 35 field goals to me is still really good. So I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I think he misses like 5 or 6.
Gotcha. Ian?
I'm gonna go with over because especially last year, Boz attempted a lot of over 50-yard field goals. I don't have the
Yeah.
numbers, but I would venture a guess
It
that
was
he
more
attempted
unusual.
more 50-plus yard field goals than any other kicker in the league. I should look it up, but I don't know. But
Okay.
I think with whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Mitch, whether it's Pickett, whether it's Mason, he's going to attempt a lot of long field goals this year, which leads to more misses. Over 50 is a coin flip to me. Like if you're 50% from over 50 yards, like I think that's pretty damn good. Like
8 of 9 last year, Ian.
Yeah.
from over 50,
Yes.
Yes.
that's incredible. Like 8 of
Yeah.
9 from over 50 yards is incredible.
Yeah.
So I think he regresses a little there in the long ones.
Okay.
But I think part of it is that he's just going to attempt a lot of long ass field goals, and yeah,
He missed.
I
He
get
missed
it.
4 last year.
Right. Yeah. So I went. Ellie, what do you think? I
And
put it at 5.
What was the over under?
I put it at 5.
5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say under, but 4 was the number I was thinking.
Okay. Very good. Very good. I'm good with that. I think you guys are thinking well on these. My next one. Let's see, Scarps. I think this one's for you, and I especially have this one for you. The number. Okay. The number is 448. All right.
Okay.
And the number is, how many packs of gum will Danny Smith chew during the season? 400 and what did I say? 48 over under.
The joke is on you, Steel Dad, because he chews double bubble in the plastic tubs you can get at your Costco or Sam's Club or BJ's or whatever wholesale store you have.
Now we're talking the double bubble, the kind that you kind of pull apart, and it falls into your hand. You pop it in your mouth.
Yeah. So I've known Danny Smith since I was like in diapers. Like he grew up with my dad. I might have said this on the show. He's a Point Breeze native for you folks in Pittsburgh. He went to Central. My dad went to Alderdice. And I've known Danny my whole life. Danny is from Pittsburgh, born and raised, but he talks with a Southern accent. He got that from when he coached at Georgia Tech with Bobby Ross. Anyway, Danny always had a minimum of like 30 pieces of bubble gum in his pocket. And I'm chewing gum right now. I would like to think that Danny Smith probably aided my addiction to chewing gum. But literally, like, I'd be at like training camp in the summer, and I'd go through like 30 pieces, and I'd be like itching and shit. Like, and I'd be like, "Where's Danny?" I'd go over, and I'd be like, "Danny, I need some." And he like reached in his pocket. He's like, "Give me a handful." He'd be like, "It's good for your jaw. It's good for your jaw."
For your jaw.
Straight double bubble. And then his wife is wonderful. She was at camp one day, and I jokingly said, I was like, I gotta stop hitting up your husband for bubble gum. Like, I need some of my own. And literally, when we got back to the South Side, there was a note on my desk from Danny and her. It was like, "Here you go." It was like a whole tub, and I'm like, I mean, like constant. Danny's good people. So all right. So to go back, so 448. Let's get rid of that.
Well,
let's go with 15 buckets of double bubble.
Wow. That's
way
a lot
over.
of freaking with comic strips and freak. Yeah, that's
way over.
Yeah, I just.
Are we counting preseason?
Nah, that just regular season. That was just meant for you. I didn't really mean for everybody.
Oh, damn it! Well, I mean, I'm gonna calculate this.
You should. I'd be very, very curious to know that.
Actually, I will say, full disclosure.
Yeah,
I was wrong. Chris Boswell did not have the most over 50 attempts last year. Evan McPherson from Cincinnati had 11 attempts over 50, but only made 9 of them. So Boswell had a better average over 50.
Okay.
And Boswell's 8 makes over 50 were more than anyone else in the league. So Matt Prater from Arizona and Graham Gano from the Giants had 10 attempts over 50, but only made 7 of them. So Boswell's right up there, basically, is what I'm saying. He had a lot of attempts from over 50 yards.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I had for the over-unders this year. Ian, I know you love this stuff, and did you have any others that I might have missed?
I had one other one for the group, actually.
Just real quick, I don't want to mention over-under on wins, because we're going to do that next week on our season preview show.
Yeah. Okay. So a non-Steelers related one, just for fun.
Sure.
So New York teams, who wins more, the Buffalo Bills or the Jets and Giants combined?
Oh.
Me personally, I would take the Bills. I know they're hot, and sometimes when you take the hot team, it backfires on you, but I just don't. I think they're going to win 12 games minimum. So I think, yes, I would take the Bills.
I would take the Bills too, for the record.
Yeah.
But it's a fun question to ask.
Yeah. Anyway, we are going to wrap it up here.
Wait. Ellie's got to give us our British word of the week.
Oh, do we have a British word of the week?
We also didn't say anything, but Ellie, are the Bills or Jets and Giants going to win more games combined?
The Bills.
Yeah.
Bills. I think they might be the ones to watch this season more than they were even last season.
Wow.
I'm gonna go push.
Push. Who do you think's
Because-
gonna like win some games, Jets or Giants?
As long as Josh Allen's healthy, the Bills win 12 to 13 games.
Yeah.
It's a 17-game season. I'm thinking the Giants win at least 6 and the Jets win at least 6.
Wow.
They
Okay.
both won
Hey.
4 last year, so
Right.
Who?
there's that.
The Jets.
I said they both won 4 last year.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, yeah. I still think it's going to be close. Who's got
We'll have to
receipts?
revisit this one.
Let's
It's gonna be
remember
fun to
this.
revisit, but
It'll be close.
yeah, I'm going to let Ellie think of her British word of the day while I just mention real quickly that next week we'll have our season preview. And hopefully Ben will be sober by that time. And we'll go through our division winners, our conference champs, our Super Bowl winners, all that kind of good stuff as we get ready for the Steelers and Bengals coming up on September 11th from Cincinnati. And anyway, Ellie, do we have a word?
God, I can never think of one, and we're also live. You've got to be careful.
No, you don't have to be careful.
No,
This
you
is
don't.
totally rated R. I've already told
don't.
YouTube this is R rated. Now, by the way, what was the word last time you were on? I loved it.
It was. Oh my God.
Not
What?
boondoggle.
It was like cod.
Codswallop.
There it is.
Yes,
Cod shit.
cod swallow.
There it is. There.
All right, and we can't use that one, obviously.
Was last week's word.
Yeah.
Of the week. New word.
So Ellie, what were they screaming in Newcastle today when Liverpool scored at like 90+8? Whatever that was, which should be our word.
It wouldn't just be R-rated. That would be, there'd be fines for that. There would
Oh
be
boy.
the things that you hear at football games. I went to a soccer game when I was in uni. When I was at uni, I went to a soccer game with my dad, and I was like, oh, so much fun. And I'd been to them before, but like, I guess you black out and you just don't think about how bad it was. And the person behind me, it was threatening. I was like, oh my God. And he was on our side. And the things he was saying about our players were things that I'm like, God, sir, that is awful. That's a grown man with a family. And he was saying things that were just awful. And at the end, he shakes my hand, good game, and walks home. I was like, what is going on?
But that's fascinating though, just because that's what they do. They yell, they scream, they make threats, they threaten violence, and at the end of the game, hey, good game. We'll see you next week.
But it's
It's
crazy.
hilarious to me. In the NFL, if we're doing that, we're going to have some kind of fight in the parking lot for 3 hours. I mean, people can't leave it alone. All right, so no word this week?
Our word this week will be. Do you know what? Actually, this one. Okay, so everyone knows this word, but no one pronounces it correctly, and it really bothers me. The word is twat.
Yes.
Not twat. I don't know where this comes from.
Twat.
That twat is like is someone who's really smart, like a SWAT. Someone is being like nerdy.
I've never used it that way.
Now, you're saying TWOT?
No, TWA.
AT. Okay.
Good at. I think you're thinking of thought.
Twat.
Wait,
Okay.
what are we talking about?
But isn't there a different pronunciation of that word that means something different? I thought you told us that before.
No, not that I'm aware of. I don't know what a twat is. It's a twat. You're being.
Twat.
All right.
Yeah.
So say it with an A and not an O.
Yeah, don't say it like an R sound. Say it like an A sound.
Twat.
Wow, what a twat.
What a twat.
And don't say the last T. Just like cut that off. What a twat.
What a twat.
What a twat.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I like
Killing
that.
it. Let's go. I'm gonna say it tomorrow. See,
Skirps, your challenge should be to use that and codswallop in the same sentence. Now that would be something.
Oh my gosh. And you could.
What a twat. I talk called swallow.
What a twat.
Was that okay?
Anyway, thanks everybody
be a dick,
for jumping on the live show, and thanks everybody for listening or watching, whatever your choice is. Like I said, we'll be back next week with big time Steelers preview and NFL preview and all that stuff as we get ready for the opener. And best of luck to Ben finding his way out of the desert tonight. And thank you to Ellie, Ryan, and Ian. And thanks to everybody out there. This is Steel Dad signing off on the SCB Steelers Podcast presented by DEK Roofing Incorporated of South Florida. And hey, go Steelers.
In honor of Ben, the Ravens suck.
Here we go.